Alright, so this is a very interesting battle in my opinion. I played this, I think it was last week or so. I'm playing against Tetsu Shima on the Cross Roads map. Now, this battle has all sorts of things wrong with it. Like, for example, it starts out with, all I can see right now is his general. And, you know, he's of course hiding it, or he's of course not hiding his army in this very conspicuous forest around here. And, the first section of the game is me slowly walking towards him while he threatens me and says that I should get into a general-on-general fight. Because I guess he assumes that I would just think that he doesn't have an army, and I'd just suicide my general in. Now I don't do that, especially because he has a melee general, and I don't like dying. So he starts to trash talk me a little bit while I swing around to this side in the forest. Now this is a very long battle, so you're gonna have to bear with me through a lot of this, because it's just going to be some shuffling back and forth. Now, I assume that he has his army somewhere on the sides here in the forest. So my thought is to swing my army out so it'll, like, my archers and stuff will be in the forest here so that I can skirmish with him. Because I don't want to just run into the middle and then surrender the slightly better terrain to him. See, this is one thing I definitely noticed pretty much ASAP. Well, first of all, it was trying to get me with a really odd tactic so I could suicide my general. But, you know, this is like pre-main patch for the heavy gunners, because I'm pretty sure they patched them a while ago. Now everyone knows the friendly heavy gunner unit, and how you're supposed to only have one of them. Well, somebody needs to tell this guy that, and really just get back to me, because he has two heavy gunners. Which, you know, at this point I'm realizing that this is going to be an interesting battle. There is something that this guy's doing. So, I see him moving all of his army out. Stupid phone. I see him moving his army out of the forest, so I try to swing at his archers and stuff with my katana cav while he's forming up, but he chases me off with his melee general. Now this is like a 20-25 minute long battle, so I'm gonna play most of this and fast forward. Because what you're seeing right now is pretty much what most of the battle is going to be for a while. It's gonna be some strutting back and forth and arrows that are hitting absolutely nothing, because they're both shooting at cavalry. So I'm going to start pressing forward through the forest to get as close as I possibly can without, well, stepping out of the forest. And pretty soon here, I'm going to swing my cav to the far flanks to just threaten his army, because he doesn't have any cavalry. At least, I don't think he has any cavalry at this point. See there, I'm going to hide those two cav units in the forest over here. I'm going to hide these two back here. I'm pretty sure it is a... Well, actually, I'll just double check for you. It's a katana cav and warrior monk cav. Should be both the same for the other one. So, at this point, he begins to trash talk me again, saying that I should stop hiding in the forest and that, you know, this forest is going to help him counter my cav or something like that. I don't really understand his reasoning behind it, or why he's talking to me, but oh well. Pretty soon here he's gonna start trying to bait my archers out of the forest to see if I just blindly let them walk out. Like I said, there's a long process of us both just waiting and him just trash talking me. which I apologize you have to sit through because you can't read the text, you know, due to it not being there and whatnot. So, while this is going on, I'm moving a Lone Sword Ashigaru unit up into the forest so that he can't swing anything around my side. And you see, this is when he starts trying to bait me with his melee general. I just keep shooting. I figured, you know, no matter how much ammunition I waste, getting a couple kills off that could kill his general is definitely worth it. I even popped fire arrows there. So, at this point, he's going to start pulling out of the forest to try to get to some better terrain where he's not surrounded. And I'm just going to pretty much fortify that I can keep this position here with my cavalry while he's retreating, because I didn't know if he was going to retreat back a little bit and then run back forward to try to keep me out. And I move these cavalry units back further into the forest. By this point, he has completely forgotten about them. So this is when the main skirmishing fight starts here. Now I have these two Yari Ashigaru hanging out in loose formation in front of my arrows, or in front of my bows, because something that people don't always do is that they keep their bows on fire at will. Now, if you watch Heir of Carthage, I'm pretty sure he had an episode a little ways back talking about this. This is something that I actually learned through his video. I didn't realize how effective it was, because look, I have all my bows on loose. They're not taking any casualties. Which one? I have pretty much almost taken this bow warrior monk unit down to a point where it's not even effective, almost. And all of his bows, all that they have done is thrash a 300 koku unit that I didn't even want. So I see an opportunity to pounce in with my cavalry that was hiding in the forest, because I thought I could catch him off guard here. Now, this Katana Cav unit is going to get caught up on his long Yari Ashigaru here, but these Naginata Warrior Monk Cav are going to snag a good bit of these Bow Warrior Monks. Now, you see, this is where he makes another mistake. Instead of pulling them back further into his lines, he runs most of them to the far right, and this is when I spring my Cav on behind his army to swing into the backs of his bows. Now, he had a much stronger skirmishing component than I did, especially with his two heavy gunners and whatnot, so I figured that pretty much what this Cav was to be a distraction so that I could make the skirmishing more in my favor. Alright, so at this point he realizes that he's lost most of his bows, so he tries to knock out my skirmishing component, and he brings up both of his heavy gunner units. And the one bow unit, or I guess two bow units that I haven't. Well, that one's almost not effective. But I see this, and I'll toggle fire arrows, and I'm just going to try to waste his heavy gunners as soon as possible to keep them from touching my lines. Now, this is very effective, especially because he doesn't have them in loose formation. Taking this concentrated of bow fire, they do not turn out very well. And unfortunately for him, I have the slight terrain advantage, because that's not a very good shot for a matchlock unit. So, all in all, despite this guy, you know, using some cheap tactics, I don't know how he manages to get two heavy gunner units and try and get me to suicide my general like I was stupid. I apologize to anyone who might have accidentally done that. We all have off days, I suppose, but so he tries to do sort of the same thing that I did to him. He's gonna move his Yari Ashigaru up to try to block some of my bow fire. And at this point you can see some concentrated fire on his general, and I think I suicided katana kind of unit into him. His general just routed right there. So, as a sort of last-ditch effort, he tries to bring his heavy gunners back up. And as you see, I just got whistling arrows off. So he's going to sit still for a second here, so I'm just fast forward. And all this while he's in range, I'm whittling the unit down. I've still got a good bit of ammunition left in my bows. They're all almost at full strength. And I've lost 2 Yari Ashigaru units and some casualties in the Lone Sword Ashigaru unit, so I didn't lose all that much. At that point, I rout his second heavy gunner, and any second now, he pretty much calls GG right here and just leaves, which I find hilarious, because if you're going to bring a cheap army that you're not supposed to be able to bringing 2 very overpowered units at the time that you're only supposed to be allowed to have 1, at least have the decency to finish the battle after you lose both of them. Then now that's just me. I don't know about how you guys feel about that, but I found that pretty hilarious. Well, I'll see you guys next time. I don't know when I'm going to bring out my next Total War video again, because I still have, I think, like 4 or 5 episodes of the Diablo 1 playthrough to put up again. So please remember to comment, rate, like, and any of those other fancy things, like subscribing and whatnot. See you all later.